The rain lashed against the car window, blurring the imposing silhouette of the Croft mansion. Beatrice Croft's confession echoed in Eleanor Vance's mind, a hollow, unsettling sound. "It doesn't feel right, Arthur," Eleanor murmured, her gaze fixed on the dark house. Arthur Penhalloden gripped the steering wheel, the wipers fighting a losing battle. "I agree, Eleanor. It's all too neat, too convenient for a case this complex." Back in their cramped office, Arthur paced restlessly, his footsteps muffled by the worn carpet. Eleanor stood by the window, watching the city lights blur through the persistent rain. "A confession is a confession, Eleanor," Arthur stated, though his voice lacked its usual conviction. "The case is closed." Eleanor turned, her expression resolute. "No, Arthur. Beatrice is protecting someone. I'm certain of it." "Consider the poison, Arthur," Eleanor pressed, stepping away from the window. Dr. Green described it as incredibly complex, a masterpiece of organic chemistry. Beatrice Croft has no background in chemistry, no discernible expertise in such intricate compounds. Arthur stopped his pacing abruptly, his brow furrowed in thought. He rubbed his chin, the initial skepticism on his face slowly giving way to serious consideration.
"You're right," Arthur conceded, the words heavy with realization. "This isn't a simple case of domestic dispute. We need to understand this poison, truly understand its nature." He reached for his desk phone, his movements now decisive. "I'll call Dr. Green. We need a more detailed breakdown. Every component, every bond." Eleanor nodded, a shared sense of purpose solidifying between them. At the coroner's lab, the sterile air hummed with the quiet efficiency of scientific instruments. Dr. Elizabeth Green, her glasses perched on her nose, gestured towards a large monitor. A complex, glowing diagram of molecular structures filled the screen, the chemical bonds pulsating with an eerie, toxic green accent color. Eleanor and Arthur leaned in, their faces reflecting the strange, luminous display. "This isn't just a poison," Dr. Green explained, her voice tinged with a professional awe that bordered on grim fascination. "It's an organometallic compound, incredibly sophisticated, primarily antimony and mercury, suspended in a unique, highly unstable solution. Frankly, it's a work of art, albeit a deadly one. Whoever synthesized this possesses profound chemical knowledge." Eleanor's mind raced, connecting the dots. Antimony and mercury. Dr. Green, do these elements hold any historical significance beyond modern chemistry? Dr. Green nodded slowly, a knowing look entering her eyes. Indeed, they were cornerstones of classical alchemy, central to the pursuit of the philosopher's stone and the elixir of life. A sudden, profound insight illuminated Eleanor's face. Arthur, now fully convinced, wasted no time. Back at the precinct, he made a swift call, his voice firm and authoritative. "I need a new warrant for the Croft residence, specifically Reginald's study. We're looking for alchemical texts, formulas, anything related to historical chemistry or esoteric practices." The pieces were finally falling into place, revealing a new, more dangerous path. The air in Reginald Croft's study was still heavy, despite its status as a sealed crime scene. Crime scene tape crisscrossed the doorway, a stark reminder of the tragedy. Eleanor Vance, however, moved with a newfound purpose. She bypassed the ornate desk, ignoring the scattered papers and the overturned chair. Her gaze was fixed on the enormous, floor-to-ceiling bookshelf that dominated one wall. Her gloved fingers glided along the spines of ancient leather-bound volumes. Each book felt heavy with forgotten knowledge. Then her touch paused.
She pulled out a heavily worn, unassuming volume titled Paracelsus of the Nature of Things. Its pages were thick with annotations, scribbled notes in the margins, far more than any other book on the shelf. Inside Reginald Croft's old leather-bound book, Eleanor Vance discovered a delicate pressed flower. Arthur Penhaligon, ever the pragmatist, immediately recognized its distinctive shape. Aconite, he stated, his voice low, or wolfsbane, a well-known poison, Eleanor. Despite the obvious connection to Reginald's death, Eleanor felt a pang of suspicion. Given Dr. Green's report of a rare, untraceable toxin, this common poison felt like a deliberate misdirection, a false trail left by the killer to throw them off. While Eleanor pondered the red herring, Arthur returned his attention to the alchemist's ledger lying open on the desk. His methodical mind scanned the columns of figures, searching for any anomaly. He noted a series of surprisingly large, regular payments, dispersed over several months, all directed to a company named Argentum Solutions. The sheer volume and consistency of these transactions, given Reginald's reclusive nature and known financial habits, immediately flagged them as highly suspicious. This financial trail suggested a deeper, perhaps corporate involvement in Reginald's affairs, far beyond simple alchemy.
Eleanor, her intuition piqued by Arthur's discovery, took the heavy ledger from him. Her gaze, however, wasn't fixed on the financial figures that had captured Arthur's attention. Instead, her sharp eyes meticulously scanned the margins of the pages, where tiny, intricate symbols were drawn next to certain entries. These weren't decorative flourishes. Their precise placement and recurring patterns suggested a deliberate, hidden meaning. The true nature of Reginald's ledger, she realized, was far more complex than a mere record of expenses. A flicker of recognition crossed Eleanor's face as she identified some of the arcane symbols. They were identical to those she had seen in the obscure Paracelsus book found earlier in Reginald's study, a text on ancient alchemy and hidden knowledge. "This isn't just a financial record," she declared, her voice resonating with a sudden, intense certainty. "It's his research journal, written in code." The ledger, the central piece of evidence, was suddenly recontextualized, transforming from a mundane accounting book into a key to Reginald's secret experiments and, potentially, his killer. Determined to glean more information, Eleanor and Arthur arranged to visit Beatrice Croft in police custody. She was brought into a sterile interrogation room, its stark white walls and single metal table amplifying the oppressive atmosphere. Beatrice looked visibly diminished. Her usually poised demeanor was replaced by a pallor and a profound sense of fear. Despite their presence, she kept her gaze fixed on the table, refusing to meet their eyes, a clear sign of her deep distress and reluctance to engage. The air was thick with unspoken words and the frustrating silence of her non-cooperation. Eleanor, understanding Beatrice's fear, spoke softly, her voice a gentle counterpoint to the room's harshness. "We know about the alchemical poison, Beatrice," she began, her tone empathetic, "and we don't believe you did it." For a fleeting moment, a raw flicker of desperation and gratitude crossed Beatrice's eyes, betraying the immense burden she carried. However, as quickly as it appeared, her emotional guard snapped back into place, and she shut down again, her face becoming an unreadable mask. This brief glimpse confirmed Eleanor's suspicion. Beatrice was either protecting someone or was too terrified to speak. As Eleanor and Arthur left the police station, the damp city air biting at their faces, Gregory Finch suddenly materialized before them.
He was impeccably dressed in a sharp, dark suit, a stark contrast to the dreary surroundings. His expression was a perfect mask of polite concern, meticulously crafted to convey sympathy, yet it lacked any genuine warmth. His unexpected appearance, combined with his unnervingly composed demeanor, immediately heightened the tension, making Eleanor and Arthur wary of his intentions. It was clear this was no chance encounter. Finch offered his help in the investigation, his voice smooth and reassuring, a carefully modulated tone of professional solicitude. However, his true intention quickly became apparent as he subtly attempted to steer them away from his significant business dealings with Reginald Croft, dismissing them as trivial matters. His words flowed with practiced ease, designed to misdirect and minimize his involvement. Yet, despite the polished facade, his eyes remained cold and calculating, betraying the chilling, manipulative intent behind his seemingly helpful offer. He was clearly trying to control the narrative.
Before turning to leave, Finch delivered a final, chilling remark, his voice dropping to a low, ominous tone. Reginald was digging into matters best left buried, he stated, his gaze sweeping over Eleanor and Arthur. A cautionary tale. The veiled threat was unmistakable, a clear warning of the dangers awaiting anyone who delved too deeply into Reginald's hidden world. His words raised the stakes of their investigation significantly, confirming that Reginald's death was no isolated incident, but connected to something far more perilous. Eleanor and Arthur exchanged a silent, knowing look, a shared understanding passing between them without a single word. Finch's thinly veiled warning, intended to deter them, had instead backfired spectacularly. It had only strengthened their resolve, solidifying their conviction that they were on the right path. The pieces were falling into place. They now had a primary suspect, a clear target in their investigation. The hunt for Reginald's true killer and the secrets he uncovered had just begun. The city slept, but in their small, cluttered office, Eleanor and Arthur remained vigilant. Photocopies of Reginald Croft's ledger lay scattered across every available surface, a labyrinth of numbers and arcane symbols. Eleanor, hunched over a vast leather-bound alchemy text, cross-referenced each cryptic mark with methodical precision. Arthur, initially skeptical, now meticulously organized the financial records, his brow furrowed in concentration. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and stale coffee, a testament to their unwavering determination. Hours blurred into a singular, focused pursuit. Eleanor's finger, stained with ink, traced a recurring symbol within the ledger, always appearing beside the substantial payments made to Argentum Solutions. Her heart quickened as she flipped to a specific page in the ancient alchemy text. There, the identical symbol was depicted, not as a benign alchemical process, but as a dangerous and volatile transmutation, specifically associated with the creation of highly corrosive or poisonous compounds. A direct, chilling link was beginning to emerge between Reginald's finances and something far more sinister than mere business dealings. A sudden gasp escaped Eleanor's lips, breaking the office's quiet intensity. She had aligned a key phrase from the ledger, translated through the alchemical code, with a peculiar detail from Dr. Green's preliminary coroner's report. The pieces clicked into place with an unnerving finality. Her pen flew across a fresh notepad, transcribing the coded entry line by line. As the final words formed on the page, her expression shifted from focused concentration to utter shock, her eyes widening in disbelief. The truth, long hidden, was now undeniably clear.
The camera pushed in, focusing on the notepad where Eleanor's precise yet hurried handwriting filled the page. The translated text, stark and damning, read, "Finch's proposal, the Azoth solution, a perfect solvent for rivals." The words hung in the air, a cold, undeniable accusation. The rare, untraceable poison was now identified, and Gregory Finch, the calculating businessman, was directly implicated by the victim's own chilling notes. The episode ended on Eleanor's stunned, horrified face, the weight of this dangerous revelation pressing down upon her.